Barcelona stomp all over Betis 5-1 in the Copa del Rey. Jules, the Super Cup magic continues. And so I'm watching these highlights with no commentary, obviously, because it's the stupid. This is Barcelona's official club channel. You can't get some schmo or even some AI voice to whatever. But I'm like, wait, that's not Koundé. That's not Koundé. Like running down,
I mean, I don't
shooting
know
on goal.
to him.
What's happened to him?
Incredible.
He's phenomenal.
He's phenomenal. I'm so happy. Remember the cross for Rafinha? I mean, cross/diagonal in the Super Cup
He's not
final.
supposed to be an attacking force.
Amazing. The way, but we've said it before, the way he's fallen in love. It took time, but fallen in love with this right back position for him. That was a centre back all his life. It's great to see him play like that. The dummy to let the ball go between his legs, then the volley, the half volley after the Lamine little chip is wonderful. You saw his celebration, great. He's so happy. He's such a great guy. It's wonderful. I'm super happy. And Barca are really on a planet of their own now. They destroyed Betis.
Betis, by the way, Mr. Pellegrini, I really, really like you and your scarf. 10th place.
It has to, it has
not
to stop
good.
now. Yes. Inter held at home by Bologna 2-2 as Emil Holm finds a late double doink. Not sure what that means, but I just read it.
Double doink is a reference to the Philadelphia Eagles when we went on a Super Bowl run. The ball hitting, the ball basically getting a double deflection off both crossbars.
Oh, yes.
My Eagles, by the way.
That's a double doink, okay.
Playing on Sunday night against the LA Rams.
Yeah, I'll be watching just to support you. And Gab, even if now Inter win the game in hand, they have another one in hand. They will only be level with Napoli then. Big opportunity missed.
It's opportunity missed. I thought Inter actually played well. People are taking issue with Bastoni for the way he defended off the home one, which allowed the deflection. I don't know. I think there's a lot more positives to take. Aslani is an issue, not good.
We said that on Monday, yeah.
But don't worry, Shala will be back at some point. And Lautaro had his best game in a long time, and that can make all the difference for Inter. They may have had issues scoring at the weekend, but after 26 minutes, Bayern were 3-0 up at home against Hoffenheim en route to a 5-0 win. Leroy Sané scores twice, making it 4 goals in 4 games. Jules, has he realized he's a free agent in June and nobody will be paying him, so now he needs to step up his game?
Yeah, this is the typical, he's playing for a new contract type of form. And I think he wants to stay at Bayern, and Bayern are just looking into it, talking to him and see what it would take them to keep him, how much money would he want, etc., etc. Because to be fair, now he's in good form, as we've been saying, and he's playing really, really lovely. But it hasn't always been the case this season.
No.
And you sign him, you give him another 4 years, and then what? You've got
you
up
don't
and
give
down
him 4
Leroy
years.
Sané?
You don't give him 4 years. You say, Leroy, you really want to be here? From now on, 1 year deals, and that's it. Yeah. And don't give me this stuff like, but the money you'll save when Davies leaves. No. Yeah. That's what you got to do.
Atalanta and Juventus battled to a 1-1 draw as Matteo Retegui snatches a late equalizer. Gab, progress for Thiago Motta? I mean, 14 draws, sorry.
Yeah, okay, keep counting the draws. In the meantime, I thought they played well.
That was
away
the best
from
game
home.
of the season, I thought.
Against a really good team in Atalanta. A team that obviously has been missing having a proper center forward. Whether Retegui is your proper center forward or not, I'll leave others to decide, but they're a lot better with him. Definitely. So I think, I think you've laid down a marker here. Kenan Yildiz. They could have lost this game. I thought they had a chance, but then your man Kenan Yildiz again had a chance at the end. Yeah. So if and when Vlahovic returns,
Rafael Leao and Theo Hernandez get on the score sheet as Milan come from behind to beat Como 2-1. Sergio Conceição getting it right, Gabby?
He was getting a tune out of Leao and Theo, which Paulo Fonseca wasn't possibly. Fabregas was annoyed because he thought Como played really well and stuff. Yeah, he played well, but Milan are a better team, and I thought created more chances and better chances. What I'm not 100% big on, Conceição saying, like, now making it about fitness. We often see this with new coaches after they come in. He says, to play my football with my intensity, blah, blah, blah. We need to work on our fitness. Okay, work on your fitness, but bring me facts. It's very easy to come out for new coaches to say that, but it is a big 3 points heading into that Juve game. Paris Saint-Germain get quite the scare as something called Espali.
That's right, near Clermont in the center of the country.
Hold them to a 2-2 draw until 2 minutes from time. What level are Espali?
Fifth division.
Oh, another fifth division team.
Another fifth division team. Yeah, they scored early as well to shock everybody. The pitch was terrible. It's a rugby pitch, but it doesn't matter so much. To be fair, Espali played really well. Lucho maybe got his team. He rotated a lot. There was 4 teenagers starting for PSG.
Yeah,
in
when you
this
say
game.
teenagers, you're not talking about guys who've never played before the cup. This is Paris Saint-Germain. You're talking about people like Mayulu and stuff
Yeah,
like
so
that.
Mayulu and Zaire Emery, we've seen them in Warren. We've seen him a lot. Mayulu,
Zaire Emery is like
but
20
then-
caps for France. Like, he doesn't count as a teenager
But
anymore.
Zague, not so much. And
Right.
then Tap was his first ever game with the pros, and he was at fault on the 2 goals. But it doesn't matter so much. With 2 minutes to go, 2-2, there's no extra time in the French Cup. So you go straight from 90
Right.
minutes to penalties.
Which is what they want to introduce here, and which I think gives the lower ranked teams more of a chance.
Absolutely. Which I like. But I was already thinking, oh my word, imagine we go to pen now. And as we've seen so often this season with the Lyon game that we will talk about a bit, then PSG could be knocked out. And I was like, oh, well. Anyway, they scored 2 goals really late, Barcola and Gonzalo Ramos, to make it 4-2. It's still not great. I don't think they were highly motivated for this game, especially with Lens at the weekend and City next week. But they won. That's the most important. They can move on.
Who played in goal? Was it Gigi or was it Man Bun?
No, Tenas.
Oh, Tenas. I forgot he was there.
So no, really, really proper rotating. And Leipzig, one of the games of the midweek round for sure. Leipzig implode away at Stuttgart. Gab, so much for the SOS.
Yes, the SOS that I raved about, the Simons.
Yeah, and rightly so.
Simons Openda Sesko. How about that? So they managed to go a goal up,
Sesko again.
and Sesko scores a nice goal
yeah.
early on. And you figure, oh my God, they're going to start unleashing Openda and Nusa and stuff on the counter. And Stuttgart, they can't help themselves the way they play. They're going to, no. Stuttgart get back into the game. They turn it around.
Really
they win
well as
2-1.
well. They were really good.
But on top of that, these 2 twerps, Sesko and Openda. I'm sorry, guys. I give you love when you're good, but when you gotta be accountable.
Yeah.
Both of them somehow start collecting yellow cards. Both of them get sent off late in the game for second yellows. You cannot have that. You already have a team with a weirdo coaching you, a team that cannot defend. The only way they're going to start winning is if you guys dominate and attack. This doesn't mean send somebody out. If you want to kick people, you want to kick the Stuttgart players, you want to go and kick Chris Furyk up in the air, that's fine, Sesko. Go get somebody else. Go get one of your crappy center backs to go and do that, right? Don't cost yourself a spot in the game. Unbelievable.
That's mad.
Dortmund, Jules. 4 starters returned from illness.
Yeah.
And somehow they find themselves 3-0 down at halftime against Holstein Kiel, who, of course, are newly promoted.
Yeah.
Eventually, they lose 4-2. I guess Giorena scored?
That's the only positive, I guess, from a
Reina family member perspective?
Yeah, absolutely. For the rest, it was one of the worst half hour I've seen, not just from Dortmund, from any team. Because Kiel are not very good. They're not a very good team. And yet, the conditions were not great. I give you that. But still, just Dortmund didn't show up, didn't turn up for a game like this. And I don't know if you blame Sahin for not motivating them before, if it's on the players for not being motivated.
And he played all these guys that nobody had ever heard of at the weekend. And now your starters are back. That should be motivation enough.
Yeah,
no?
true. You're right. It was an absolute nightmare for them. Terrible, just a terrible performance. Atletico Madrid make it 15 wins in a row as they beat Elche 4-0 away in the Copa del Rey. And El Cholo rumbles on, Gab.
Well, it helps when you've got the only living Sorlot in captivity. Bow down before him. 2 goals for the big man. You know what? Who cares if he doesn't? If for some reason in big games he likes to play that little Griezmann guy and Alvarez and the World Cup winner Alvarez ahead of him.
Who scored as well? Alvarez came on and scored.
And by the way, Riquelme the best goal of the game.
Riquelme?
By far?
Yeah.
By far. Lovely. They've got the momentum. Elche aren't good. But I think it's good for him that you keep your other strikers involved and scoring and happy so that when you do need to call them, they're ready because they have more depth at striker than most teams in Europe.
Yeah, that's true. And that is Grimaldo free kick. It's the only goal as Bayer Leverkusen beat Mainz 1-0 to stay second, 4 points behind Bayern. Gab, it's handy to have him around, right? Especially he's recovering some form now.
Yeah, and obviously, set piece out of nowhere. Probably a better free kick than Reece James's, although Reece James is more dramatic.
Yeah.
He's still in this situation where he's playing this 3-5-1-1 with Wirtz behind Schick. He had Palacios a little further forward. I don't I guess it turns into a 3-3-4 because Frimpong and Grimaldo go forward. But I don't like this. I don't think it produces the control that he wants. I think they still gave up a number of chances. Maybe it's the evolution of Xabi Alonso. Maybe he's showing he's more multifaceted than people thought.
Maybe.
Marseille and Monaco are both out of the Coupe de France and both lose on penalties.
Yeah.
Jules, I suppose our boy, but that's right, we should point out, at least they face top flight opposition.
Yeah, that's right.
And was it Reims and Lille?
Reims, yeah. Reims away and Lille at home for Marseille.
I suppose our boy Roberto De Zerbi will be more bummed out since this was his Champions League.
Yeah, and he in his pre-match press conference was very like, we want to win this. We want to win trophies. And the league is obviously is going to be far more difficult.
7 points.
But that cup is great. There's no League Cup in France anymore, so this is the FA Cup. They're not in Europe, so this is the one. And they went behind against Lille, and they scored a 96-minute equalizer to go straight into pen, as we explained earlier. And then they lost on pen. Vito Mannone, remember him?
Of course, former Arsenal legend.
Exactly.
Can I say something?
Lovely, lovely guy.
Vito Mannone is the second best player to come out of the Italian town of Cusano Milanino, which is a bedroom community outside Milan,
right?
Which is where my entire mom's side of the family are from. My grandfather was the mayor of Cusano Milanino.
Okay.
And when I say Vito Mannone is the second most famous footballer to come from there.
Who's the other one?
Giovanni Trapattoni.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, you're not going to beat that
pretty
one.
Pretty good. And yeah, so they were very, very angry. They were angry because the Lille president, Olivier Létang, came down onto the pitch after Marseille equalized, so just before the penalty shootout started, and spoke to the fourth referee, Mehdi Benatia, the Marseille sporting director, was sent off. De Zerbi said, I've never ever seen a president going from the stand down onto the pitch to talk to a fourth referee, which, to be fair to De Zerbi, he has a point, because I don't see anybody really doing that. It's not like if Laporta or Florentino Perez would go down and then be pitch side to talk to the fourth referee.
I will say this. How old is De Zerbi? I'm guessing 50... he's probably not old enough to remember the 1982 World Cup and Kuwait and the president of the Kuwait FA That's coming down onto the pitch.
Yeah. But still, I guess in a way he has a point. But Marseille to lose to Lille, Lille are very good, okay. But for Monaco to lose away at Reims, who haven't won in the league for ages, since November or something like that, on penalties as well, is disgraceful. So Adi Hutter and all his players really need to have a proper look at themselves, because that was just not acceptable.
It's time! It's Textor time! Lyon crash out of the Coupe de France against 50-year... I can't even pronounce this. Is it Bourgoin-Jallieu?
Yeah, nice.
There you go. Jules, that wasn't even the wildest part of our hero, JT's week.
Absolutely not. Let's start with...
honestly, for him to be bumped from the craziest spot on the show, it's going to come up later. It requires a man getting penile implants.
Absolutely. But for JT, started on Monday when an interview that he did with French radio RMC a few days before was released, where he literally attacks Nasser Khalifi, the PSG president, and Vincent Labrune, the head of the French league, saying that Labrune is PSG's lapdog, basically, that he can't believe the conflict of interest between for Nasser Khalifi to be the PSG president and also in charge of beIN Sport media group.
He's a point of the conflict of interest.
Yeah, but which is something that everybody has said for many, many years now. But it's the way he said it. And by pure coincidence, obviously, I'm sure, on that Monday evening, a lot of text messages that John Textor sent a few months ago to Nasser Khalifi when they were talking about Ryan Cherki appeared on social media. I'm
assuming Textor's not leaking his own text messages.
Definitely not.
Right?
Where he calls Ryan Cherki and his entourage idiots and that kind of stuff. Really, really bad language. Considering it's his own player as well. I mean, it's bad language for anybody, but especially including the people that work for you and that you're paying for a lot of money. It's terrible from John Textor, I think, overall. And then on Wednesday night, Lyon go and lose in a derby in a way, because Bourgoin is really close to Lyon in an incredible atmosphere. They're bottom of the fifth tier Bourgoin. So it's not even like they are.
Does France even
flying.
have a sixth tier?
Yeah, we do. Of course, we do. And for them to lose on penalty, Lacazette and Tolisso, your two most experienced players, the players that you paid the most, missing their penalties. You could not make it up.
I think Lacazette was probably worried about what Textor might call
Yeah,
him.
probably.
But my other thing, which we didn't mention, which he said something about how he's not going to sell any players to Paris Saint-Germain. He says, I'm not going to sell to Nasser until we shake hands and share a beer. Now,
Could be a 0% beer.
that's not beer.
Well,
I honestly, he's got the
Non-alcoholic
sensitivity
beer.
of a woolly mammoth or an elephant here. Nasser, I don't know. He might be, Nasser's from Qatar, right?
Yeah,
Islamic country.
absolutely.
Now, is it possible that he is one of the very few non-Muslim Qataris?
No,
I don't think so.
definitely not.
So you know that this dude doesn't drink,
Absolutely.
and you're putting him in a tough situation. Like, why would you?
I know.
Why?
I
What-
know. It's really weird.
Don't give me non-alcoholic beer
I
nonsense.
don't know. I'm just saying to you, I don't drink beer, so I don't drink non-alcoholic beer either.
Because it's not beer.
But it's called like that. It's called a
They
non-alcoholic.
can call it whatever they want.
I know, man.
Come on, man. Whatever.
Gab, what would we do without owners and presidents entertaining us? I bet you enjoyed hearing Joan Laporta on Monday doing this very long press conference.
Oh my God, yeah. So he got moved down to third spot by Textor.
Yeah,
I guess there's always somebody more extreme. So obviously, Laporta is crowing and he's a hero because
Yeah.
they won the Super Cup and everything's great. As you know, he's been under attack from people in the media, but also other Barcelona fans, including former Barcelona club officials, people who might run against him when there's presidential elections in 2026 for his management. Some might say, I would say, mismanagement
Yeah.
of the club and the risks he's taking with the club. He goes this whole thing, which I really hate, this whole you're either with us or against us. They don't love Barcelona. This is straight. When we say these are political clubs, this is straight out of politics,
Yeah, of
right? Where
course.
you assume that the guy on the other side of the party aisle from me doesn't honestly believe the things he says. He's doing it because he secretly hates the country, right? I mean, honestly, this is the level we come at. That's the same level of vitriol that sadly exists in mainstream politics is now in Barcelona. So we also found out more details. You know how they had to sell VIP seating for the next X many
Saudis
years?
and the Qataris, yeah.
He sold one Qatari investor said, I'll take 30 million worth of future VIP seats that haven't yet been built in the stadium that is not yet open. And some other guy from the Emirates says, I'll see your 30 million and I'll raise you. I'll pay 70 million for a bunch of seats, which I'll then allocate one way or another. By the way, this is money that's not going to come in later because they've taken it up front now so that they could sign Dani Olmo and Pau Victor. He also was criticized because it emerged. Obviously, they signed this massive deal with Nike. Now it's a long-term deal, worth close to 1.7 billion. It emerged that he paid an intermediary to negotiate the deal. And the intermediary is an old name familiar to Arsenal fans.
Yeah.
It's Darren Dean, the son of Arsenal's former executive vice chairman, David Dean. He got 2.95% of the commission. Now, assuming that's 2.95 on 1.7 billion, that is a lot of money. And he's done really well for himself. And I think people are fairly asking him. I understand why intermediaries exist when players are moving. You don't want to be stable. Those you want. But you're Barcelona. You're arguably the biggest or one of the best loved football brands in the world. And you need to negotiate a deal with an apparel, a kit deal.
Who you already have before. So you
already know them, right?
Somebody new.
So it's like, okay, so I'll talk to Nike or I'll talk to Adidas or maybe I'll talk to Lotto, Puma.
Yeah.
Are there many more here?
No, exactly. You're
they
right.
all know your deal's expiring. They all know you have to sign a new one.
Yeah.
Do you need to have somebody who you pay 2.95%? He says, yes, it would have been much worse. The deal almost collapsed without him.
Yeah, I'm sure.
These are not the things you should be saying, dude.
Yeah.
Sevilla defender Quique Salas has been arrested for allegedly getting booked deliberately so his friends could win bets. The Lucas Paqueta.
The
school
Lucas
of-
Paqueta, exactly. Because
Well, actually, we don't know Lucas Paqueta.
No, we
the
don't
case
know.
is still ongoing. But that is what he's accused of.
But and it seemed from the investigation pretty obvious that a lot of bets were placed in the same area. And the area, guess what? Where Quique Salas is from, where all the family and friends still live, on the night where Sevilla were playing and Quique Salas were playing, on the nights where he got booked as well. Apparently that earned his mates and his family 9,000 euros or 10,000 euros, something like that. So it's not even they made that much money.
And the best part for me, because I'm childish and stupid, is I wrote here the name of the town where the suburb of Seville where they were. Do you want to read
I
it?
knew it. I'll let you say it.
It's Moron de la Frontera, which of course I read as Moron de la Frontera because I am puerile.
But Quique Salas was a good, promising young player. And
He's 22.
this is
He
it.
can still be that again.
But no, he's going to be banned for a very long time. This is a 10-year ban.
10 years.
This will be 10 year. This will be 10 year. I guarantee you.
This is really bad if found
It's
guilty.
terrible. I can't believe things like that happen.